This exercise is called layering, but it has other names, usually things like a touchpoints matrix. Some people will call these journey maps. They might just be designed differently and have more boxes and arrows. We found in Miro, this is a great way to lay out your product features into a real flow and think more about, in this exercise, all of the things under the hood to support your customer experience, whether that's a product or a service offering. So the way you use this board is, think about all the steps you worked on in the scenario or storyboarding exercises. So what's the flow or path that someone takes? In this case, it might be like onboarding to your product. And there's a series of steps people go through, from discovering and exploring your product through to deciding to purchase and then actually making a purchase, or signing up for something. So you'll put those steps here at the top of the board, and down the left, you'll fill in the layers. You don't have to use 4 layers. These are just all here if you have need for more than a few. Layer 1 is your customer level interaction. This is the stuff your customer is doing, your target customer. Layer 2 is usually you or your customer support, or it might be a sales rep, someone who's interacting really directly one-on-one with the customer, whether that's through analog or digital channels. Layer 3 is usually a back-end processor system. This is how your product works. This is where the data goes. This is the API you built. Whatever it is that your product or service is doing behind the scenes to enable these interactions up above. You can always add more layers. So you might actually want to split out, for example, your interaction layer of your product with your data or backend. So you can always add other layers to this. And then the goal is to fill in what's happening at each of these layers. So, for example, in step 2 of their onboarding, as they're exploring the product and learning more about it, you'll fill out this card right here with more details about what the customer is doing. You can add more cards about what you're doing or what your support team is doing. You can always draw lines in Miro to connect these. Miro makes it really easy for you to connect these cards together to show the process or flow. Like, oh, the customer inputs data, it goes to the salesperson. The salesperson updates it in the CRM, would be one example. And you can also go connect arrows left to right. So if a customer is going through a specific flow, you can always connect arrows that way as well. And this is an example here where, like, a customer does something that your sales rep or customer support handles that pushes it into the next step, right, in a workflow. That also adds data to the back end. And then that data might be automated in some way. So you basically add and update these cards as you work through it with your team. The beauty of this in Miro is this card format. You can actually then grab all of these cards and do things like add them to a product backlog, export them to Jira, tag them with certain tags. In this case, I've got a few in here as examples of, like, this is an integration, or this is a MVP feature that we're going to build, or this is the release. This is for release 3. So you could put like release tags in here, or you could put the owner or the process piece as tags. So lots of ways to customize this layering exercise. It's a really powerful way of thinking about your product and helping you prepare for next steps, whether that's building prototypes or even like moving toward development, design and development.